All right, we're still winding down. We've got ourselves this episode plus, I believe, 2 more in the Why I Want series before we wrap everything up for the 2021 NHL entry draft. Thank you to those in the previous Why I Want for Sebastian Cossa who commented Black Panther. If you want a chance to be featured in what would be the second last, I believe, video in the Why I Want series for 2021, then hey, stick around to the end of this scouting report prospect analysis video for the comment section keyword to get your chance. But in today's video, we're sticking around in Canada and talking about one of the top Canadian prospects in the 2021 NHL entry draft, shifting our focus from the Edmonton Oil Kings over to the Flint Firebirds in Michigan, so it's not really Canada, I take that back. Today we're talking about a guy whose name you might recognize because on some of the biggest stages in these young prospects' careers, this guy has shown up really, really well. Today we're talking about Shane Wright's partner in crime, the second part to that dynamic duo at the World Under-18s, as well as in the Don Mills Flyers organization. Let's talk today about Brennan Othmann. Now, Othmann is a guy who, if you take a look at the profile, you'd see right here, he isn't actually playing in the OHL. And that's because, hey, everybody kind of knows what's going on in the OHL this season. They shut down, which is why players in the OHL, some of them at least, made their way overseas, playing in European leagues, playing in top men's leagues, some playing in junior leagues. Brennan Othmann was one of these guys. Who exactly is Othmann? Well, let's go over the rundown here. He was born on January 5th, 2003, making him 18 years old. He's a left wing, 6 feet tall, 174 pounds. He's a guy who made himself very well known playing for the Don Mills Flyers AAA club in the Greater Toronto area. He said himself that in the summer of minor bantam, as he was heading over to the Don Mills Flyers, he became aware of this guy that was going to be his teammate by the name of Shane Wright. And these two guys formed a very good duo on the ice ever since. You take a look at what Brennan Othmann was able to do in the AAA scene there in Ontario. In 2018-19, suiting up for the Flyers U16 club, he played 72 games and he had 146 gosh darn points. Oh my gosh. He was almost a goal a game. He was at an assist a game. This was the team I remember watching back in the day that was just so absolutely dominant everywhere they went. And the top 3 guys in point production on that squad, hey, you might recognize their names over here: Shane Wright, Brennan Othmann, and Brandt Clarke. These 3 guys were absolutely phenomenal together, crazy high potential players playing in the U16 leagues over there in Toronto, and they topped it all off by winning an OHL Cup. No, not a championship in the OHL. These guys were underage. They weren't playing in the OHL. It's just the tournament sponsored by the OHL called the OHL Cup, and the overtime winner was actually a goal scored by Brennan Othmann, assisted by Shane Wright on a very nice 2-on-1 cross-crease play. In fact, Brennan Othmann talks so highly about Shane Wright, about the friendship these guys have, the relationship on and off the ice. It's kind of crazy because they're born 1 year apart as well. Shane Wright is born exactly a year after Brennan Othmann was born. And he talks about how they're pretty similar guys on the ice, off the ice, the way they think about things. So they both push each other all the time to being better hockey players and better people. Furthermore, this was exemplified in the 2019 OHL draft, where Shane Wright was taken first overall by Kingston and Brennan Othmann went second to the Flint Firebirds. This is kind of where things broke off a little bit until the U18s. We'll get to that a little bit later. But in his rookie season with the Flint Firebirds, Brennan Othmann put up 33 points in 55 games played, 17 goals, 16 assists over there in his rookie year. You have to remember, Flint is not really that good of a team. They've always been kind of down in the dumps over there, so take the numbers here with a little bit of a grain of salt, I would say. Despite that, though, Othmann still showed off some really good skills in the OHL in his rookie year. Firstly, it's his very good, very quick and accurate wrist shot from in tight that he can absolutely elevate no matter how close to the net he is. His off-puck instincts and positional awareness are also really good in the offensive zone, in my opinion. And he plays his best when he takes the puck and he charges right into the zone, looking for a forceful way to break right in. He's got this really good quality to his game where he just doesn't back down. He just goes, and he's going to do his best to just do what it is that he needs to do. It's why he's not afraid to get in deep into the tight checking areas either. Battle in the corner, fight off with some guys, use his frame to shove guys around. Sure, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he plays a lot bigger than he is. All these skills kind of needed to be on display as well in Flint because, you're playing on Flint. It's not really a great team. You no longer have a Shane Wright feeding you the puck every time and giving you prime scoring opportunities. So you kind of have to be a little bit more grittier, a little bit more stable on your feet, and a little bit more defensively capable coming back the other way. This year in the OHL, though, things didn't really go too well for anybody because the league didn't start up. He made his way over to Switzerland, where he suited up for EHC Olten in the Swiss league, putting up 16 points in 34 games played over there. It's a top men's league in Switzerland, and he's going out there on a pro men's team as a guy who is a teenager, so, pretty cool to see that transition over there. 16 points in 34 games isn't amazing, but you know what? It is what it is. He's a teenager playing against men. You could definitely use the argument and say, oh, but Mason McTavish was playing on this exact same team and he was just under a point per game. And yeah, that's very fair. However, the biggest parts of Brennan Othmann and his draft profile for 2021, in my opinion, come out at the U18s because, man, suiting up for Team Canada, Brennan Othmann had 6 points in 7 games played. Sure, there were other guys that had a boatload more points than he did, but the points that Othmann scored were clutch, really nice, beautiful points out there. Some of the plays, man, the reuniting with Shane Wright out here. A power play marker where Wright sends it out into the front where Othmann is there. He goes through the legs on the goaltender and pots it right through. Then, of course, in the gold medal game against Russia, Brennan Othmann doing what he does best, walking it in himself over the blue line, dashing right across the left side, coming towards the goal, and pinpointly accurately sniping it over the goalie's shoulder off the bar and in. Beautiful, baby. Just the snipage ability of this guy on the rush. It really reminds me of an Alex Tuch kind of guy. Sure, Tuch isn't the best player on your team. No matter what team you put Alex Tuch on, he most likely will not be the best player there. But is he a player you would like to have? Absolutely. He goes out there with speed. He loves to snipe the puck coming into the zone. And Brennan Othmann displays a lot of those same qualities, not to mention the off-the-puck nastiness and ability to get involved as well. Othmann exhibits those traits too, as exemplified by his 64 penalty minutes in 34 games played in the Pro Swiss League this year. So, all this combined, the profile, the collaboration with Shane Wright, and the way these guys have developed together, combined for a prospect that is out here with a 20th overall consolidated ranking. He's ranked 21st by Elite Prospects, 22nd by FC, 17th by the Neutral Zone, so that's a little bit higher than some of the lists over here, 17th by TSN and Craig Button as well. He's ranked 8th overall by NHL Central Scouting for North American Skaters, so that is a really interesting ranking over there. Interesting to note that NHL Central Scouting actually has Othmann above Matthew Coronado, Cole Sillinger, Carson Lambos, Chaz Lucius, and Francesco Pinelli. So he's a pretty big deal, I would think, in the eyes of many people out there. He also is ranked 14th by Sportsnet. However, the lowest ranking on here is 44th by the Puck Authority. So for Brennan Othmann, he's a guy who I could honestly see maxing out as a middle six kind of guy. Sure, we noted how he lit the Don Mills Flyers up in that entire scene when he was 15, 16 years old. But when it comes to the skills that he has, I think they project pretty well to the NHL level. I could see him being that middle six, maybe bottom six kind of guy who could score you maybe 15, 20 goals in a year in really clutch situations. Maybe 20 as like a max kind of guy. I don't really see Othmann becoming a guy who is going to be similar to Shane Wright and that he's going to be like a number one point producer, because everything that Othmann is doing now, Shane Wright has done a year younger, so I do think he has the extra year up in advantage in terms of development over there. But for Othmann, this is a guy that if you take him sometime, let's say at the end of the first round, 31st, 32nd overall, maybe if he slips to the mid-second, like the Puck Authority suggests that he should, at 44th overall, I think this guy could be a legit NHL player. And if you're able to get him sometime in that range, this could be a really good steal. Maybe in that Niels Höglander kind of vibe, you know? He went 40th overall, made the league 2 years later. With Othmann, I see skills that could project to the NHL, and I think this could be a really nice overall opportunity for whichever team drafts him. Another Easter egg, though, if you're going to go out there and draft this guy, make sure you're going to tank in 2022 because, hey, it'd be amazing if you drafted Shane Wright first overall in 2022 and you got his buddy, his partner in crime, the second-hand man over there in Othmann the year before. So talk to me in the comments what you think about Brennan Othmann and his overall scouting prospect profile over here. If you made it to the end of this video, comment in the comment section below, Sunfire, because we're sticking with superheroes. We're going to go that way the entire way through. And of course, Flint Firebirds makes me think of fire, and Sunfire is a Marvel superhero. So talk to me in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Would you want your team to draft Othmann? Let me know in the comments why or why not. So that is Trolls 99. And bye.